What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, I want to go over Brodie Smith's forehand because I think that's where he needs the most work in his game. That's where he's losing the most strokes. I want to talk about Paul McBeth's touring schedule this year, and I want to talk about how companies are supporting their touring pros during the point in time when there is no tournaments to be playing. So they're not touring pros right now. So to get started with Brodie's forehand, I think that Brodie has the most work that needs to be done is with his forehand. He's not really losing a lot of strokes on his putting, his backhand, and the scoobers. Those are all like pretty good. Like he's being very diligent about those things. But I think he really needs to like break his forehand down and just sort of build it up from the ground up. Something's going on here and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's very like nose up and very, there's a lot of off-axis torque and it comes out very air bouncy. Like it's very much like an ultimate Frisbee style forehand. And even the throws that are good are like, I don't know, you can just see how air bouncy it is. Have a look.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Brodie.
Hey.
No, Brodie! Nice shot.
Oh yeah.
You can see it just comes out very nose up and very air bouncy, and like, although this is like a good throw, I don't know, he's just gonna struggle throwing like stable distance drivers with this technique. It works fine for buzzes and things that will like flip up for him, and because they fly more like an ultimate disc, but something's going on here and I can't quite figure it out. But we can see a couple of examples here of like where the forehand's been sort of like his crux. Like this is very clearly like a forehand gap that you think someone with his skill level should be able to hit, but because of like the air bounce factor and like the off-axis torque and it's not very smooth, things like this seem to be happening more frequently than not.
I'm assuming he's gonna make that. Yeah, and this might have been my first mistake here. Might have been my first one. I don't even want to.
So that's kind of the first example. Like he sort of grip locks it. Like something's not smooth here. Like he's not smooth with his flick. So we'll move on to the next one.
Also another like kind of nemesis hole for me that I was really struggling with. I'm going with the jawbreaker zone here.
That was a good flight, just a little wide.
Yeah, it's still like, even watching it out of my hand, it's still, I can tell I'm throwing it kind of nose up. It's not, you know, it's not really what I want to do.
I think we missed your layup here too, your approach.
So it's always coming out of his hand like that bit nose up. I think maybe he's just releasing it like too low. Like he's trying to release it on like maybe way too much hyzer. And then I think there might be like a grip issue going on. I'd like to see like a breakdown of how he's really actually holding the disc and have someone like analyze it and make some adjustments. It would have been cool to see Big Germ like adjusting Brodie's form. That would have been a cooler video than like a Big Germ forehand tutorial in my mind. So we'll have one more look at a flick here.
Gap right there. And I've got my Raptor here from Yuli. Yuli gave me this one before the tournament. Told me to throw it well, and unfortunately I did not do that, and I'm kind of up on the right hand side. Just kind of got to get the
So like that was kind of my concern, is like him throwing, you know, faster discs and like overstable discs. He's not really he's like, the way he's throwing, it's gonna be very hard to give him a flat release. It might even be impossible to put like an Anheuser angle on like a forehand shot, which I don't know, someone who plays ultimate, you think his angles would be money, but it's like it's really like low and nose up and on the hip, and like it just seems a bit wonky still. We'll have one more look at that.
It's a crazy gap right there. And I've got my Raptor here from Yuli. Yuli gave me this one before the tournament. Told me to throw it well.
Brodie's game is super solid and it's really good, and I think, you know, he was shooting right around even par during Waco, and it was like, if the forehand shots were money, he for sure, without a doubt, would have shot, you know, under par easily. So just my opinion. If you have any feedback for Brodie's form, I'd like to hear what you guys think is going on with his form. I just think like maybe he's just throwing it from like way too low and to the hip and like short arming it just a little bit. He's not really getting like the angles and the follow through properly. I think he needs to release from his hand just a bit higher, maybe up towards like belly button height, or like it's almost like below his hip when it comes out of his hand, which is making them come out on like super hyzer and air bouncy, and I don't know, something's going on there. I'd like to hear what you guys think about that. I just know that that's where Brodie needs the most improvement with his game, in my personal opinion. So as far as Paul McBeth goes, right now, PDGA sanctioned events are canceled through April 30th. So that means Paul's going to have, you know, a total of at least 6 weeks to just big chill and rest up, and like his touring's not going to be canceled as soon as people think. I think we're going to see Paul McBeth like maybe come out to some of his like favorite tournaments. I think we may see Paul McBeth like, we obviously won't see him through April, but I think it's very reasonable to see Paul like in Michigan for the Great Lakes Open. I think that's in Michigan. I think we could see Paul maybe even all the way through to Vermont if he's picking and choosing which competitions he wants to do. He was originally going to stop in August, but if we sort of move everything 6 weeks, I think it's almost a guarantee that we'll see Paul McBeth in Maple Hill. And I think it's about a 50% chance we might even see him in Vermont. So Massachusetts and Vermont, these are good, fun, wooded tournaments that I'm sure Paul wants to do. So I think we could see Paul McBeth all the way through to Vermont, because we're getting these couple extra weeks to rest up. He's not being forced to tour and to play as much. So that's my prediction. I think we'll see Paul all the way through to Vermont. Again, comment below and let me know if you guys think Paul's going to just still shut it down when they originally planned to shut it down. The last thing I want to talk about, I just want to give a quick shout out to Dynamic Discs. So Dynamic Discs has specifically come out and said that they're supporting the touring players, doing media opportunities, disc signings, and coming up with any unique solutions to help the players be financially stable while they're not able to play for tournament winnings. Now, when we compare that to Innova right now has said they have no plans finalized for offering any additional financial support for the team. And I think that's quite disappointing to hear, because you think of Innova Discs as like the pinnacle sponsor that everyone would want to be sponsored by. Like any average Joe, it would be a dream come true to be sponsored by Innova. But right now, I think the dream come true is to be sponsored by Dynamic Discs, because not only are they giving all these opportunities to help these players be financially stable, they're also putting them up and giving them a place to stay in Emporia, Kansas. So they have the stability of a place to stay. They also have great courses to practice, and they get to be around the other pros that choose to take them up on that offer. So I'm quite impressed with Dynamic Discs. Good work on them, and I think Innova should sort of follow in their footsteps and get some sort of like disc golf house rented for the touring pros where they can practice and maybe coexist and make videos and do media and be involved during the point where they're not able to play tournaments. I think part of being sponsored is knowing that your sponsor has your back through good times and through the bad times. I think company really shows their colors through what happens during the bad times, and Dynamic Discs is clutching up. They're doing a great job. I'm deeply impressed with what they're doing. Comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video. Just by liking this video, YouTube puts it higher in the algorithm to make this video more visible. Just by hitting that like button, you are helping grow the sport of disc golf. Thank you for watching. This is Iceberg TV, and take care.